You're working 40 hours a week on your job. You come home exhausted and you want to build a business, but where's the time? Honey, I've been where you are. And that is why in today's episode, we're tapping into one of the most proven systems that successful entrepreneurs have mastered to make the most of their day. By the end of our conversation, you'll be surprised by how much time you have to dedicate to your family, your calling, and to do the things that you love. I'm breaking down the exact daily routine that I use to dedicate to my business and also work a corporate job. Let's get into it. You're listening to Identity Shift with Arnesia, the space where we renew our minds to live in our unique design. Let's be honest, working a corporate job can feel draining, especially if you're coming home from an 8-hour shift and you're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to do this? I got a job, I got family, I got things to tend to, and then I have this deep desire to build a business that's going to help me escape the 9 to 5. And the trick behind it is understanding how you operate psychologically. If you know that when you come home from work, that you want to lay down, you want to scroll on social media, you want to eat something, you want to binge watch Netflix, if that is how you operate, we need to just basically make time for those things. I'm not saying you can't binge on Netflix. I'm not saying that you can't lay down in the bed and take a nap. I'm not saying that you have to exclude yourself from family and friends. You just have to make time for those things so that way you can still enjoy it at the same time as building your business. Each and every one of us has the same 24 hours in the day that God has given us. And it's a matter of knowing how to manage that 24 hours. So that is why today I feel the tug and pull to let you know that we need to come up with some strategies so that we can get this business up and rolling off the ground for you. Okay. So let's dive straight into it. I'm going to go into point number 1. Let's talk about building you a daily routine. Let's do this together. We're going to take a few steps to build a daily routine that actually works for you. Let's take the first step in auditing our time. I have my phone out, so just don't mind the lighting here. I want you to actually track what you do during the day. I want you to track, write down time that you spend on TV, write down the time that you spend to hang out with friends, dedicate to your family, audit one day out of the week so that you know where is your time going. So kind of like how you would budget if you budget your finances. You know where your money's going, you know what bills you're paying, you know how much you're spending on groceries. It's the same way with your time. Know what you're doing with your time every day so that we can go ahead and figure out where to put it throughout the week. Now, this is the fun part. I'm going to share with you my calendar because now we're going to time block. Time blocking has been stellar for me because I know that when it's in the calendar, we're for real, we're standing on the business that we have put into place. Okay. I use Google Calendar. Google Calendar has been a staple for me because anytime I have a meeting set up or I send an email, everything is connected to my emails, everything's connected to Google. So it just makes it easy for me to use Google as my time blocking calendar. I'm going to share with you one of the days during the week where I'm working a corporate job and then also have some time to allocate to my business. As you can see here on my calendar, I have marked out my morning routine, upper Zoom for my church's prayer line. And then as you can also see here as well, at 8:30, I have social media engagement. 10 a.m. is module 6 that I'm working on with my business. I'm zooming in here so that you can see that I did create a 15-minute break for myself so that I can work on another part of my business. And then I give myself 1 hour to get ready to go to work. And that shift is from the evening to nighttime. And typically I would have my night routine at 8 p.m. But I decided that, of course, we're not going to do a night routine because we got to work. So those are the cons of having to work a job. But at the same time, we continue the same method anywhere else. And I just want to show you this one more schedule. Let's say I have a day off. On my days off, I want to dedicate that to business projects, or if I'm meeting up with someone, having a coffee date, whatever, I'm dedicating my days off to either resting. These are times where their priorities for me. So even on your days off, I recommend having a set calendar. Unless you're completely dedicating the day for full blown rest, family time, whatever, set up that time, make sure it's blocked off. Because here's another pro about having a time block calendar is that on your scheduled days off, you know ahead of time that if somebody says, "Oh, I have a girls' event," and this is your day that you're scheduling off for yourself, you're resting, you're, like spending time with yourself to recuperate because you just had a long week and you know that you need some time to rest. And if you go to this event, you know that you're going to need energy for that. You're going to need to show up. And sometimes that basically takes away from you standing on your standards to complete something that really is valuable to you, and that is self-care. So just to show you another example, like I said, on my days off, same thing, same morning routine, 8:30 social media engagement. And then 10 a.m., I'm working on my podcast. 1 p.m., I'm taking a break. 2 p.m., I'm working on something for my business and taking breaks again. And then I have an event that night that I'm going to, and that's just allocated time. So it's very simple. Once you have a calendar that's blocked off, you give yourself the time, the rest, and you actually see how much you actually have available to dedicate to your business. And that goes into also batching your time. Now, know that some of you that are watching this are content creators and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I batch create? How do I make myself consistent online? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. At this time, I'm not flying off the Instagram wheel, posting 5 times a day and posting 4 times a week. That's just not the energy that I'm in right now. And I feel as though it is so important to understand what season you are in, because I did have a time of my life where I was posting daily inspirational videos and I was getting incredible views, incredible engagement. My follower count was going up. So many great things were happening because I was consistent and I had the energy and the time to do that. But in this season of my life, I am in a place where I'm like, I just really want to post one YouTube video, one podcast episode, because that's all the energy that I have to give. And then I would split the YouTube video, the long form video, into clips to show that this is what my podcast episode is about, because I'm putting energy and effort into other areas of my business. So you want to be mindful of what season that you're in and when to batch create, how to batch create, how to batch your time, dedicating one day during the week out to a specific part of your business, whether it is the podcast episode or the client work or the 5-hour project that you decide to dedicate that day to. And last but not least, I know I just slightly said this, but I want to make it very clear to make time for rest. Should be any entrepreneur, any person's top priority is to dedicate a day for rest. This is how we prevent burning out. You want to dedicate one day for resting just so that you can give your brain a break. I understand that as an entrepreneur, you get all these creative ideas. You're trying to figure out which one to start next. You get mind blown about the thrill and the excitement of your projects, and you find yourself working 7 days a week, especially if you are working a corporate job as well. It is important for you to know when to rest. I personally give myself completely Mondays. Mondays are my day where I'm resting. I'm doing light work. I'm cleaning. I'm putting just some time away for myself, rest my body because rest actually gives you more energy to create. Rest will give you more energy to come up with more ideas that you have for yourself. And next thing you know, the next day, you're finding yourself putting more energy and effort into your craft. For instance, this past Monday, I spent 5 hours binging on TikTok, and I felt no guilt or shame about it. I know some people may feel like, oh my God, 5 hours? TikTok, you got a problem. And honestly, it didn't hurt one bit. I felt great afterwards. And then the next day I had so much energy to work on a business project, and I've been good for the rest of the week. So go ahead and dedicate a day during the week for for you to just have time to yourself, because self-care matters. So what is the whole point of creating this time block, this schedule, this daily routine when you don't have standards to stand on? Trust me, there are going to be days where you just don't feel like following the calendar, and no one's saying that you have to. Just know that in mind, when days get hard, having your standards is what's going to rise to the top for you and help you to get through the day. I didn't realize how important standards were until I realized how hectic my day to day became. I'm talking about people grabbing me from here and there, phone calls off the hook, me overwhelmed by my business, and just knowing that it's too much to handle. And standing on standards, meaning I'm putting in time for my work at a specific time. I know that I have to work at 4 o'clock, so I'm going to put in time for prioritizing the beginning of my day. These are standards that you want to stand on when it comes to you working your business. I'm just going to share with you a few of my standards that has helped me to make the best of my work days as well as my days off. This looks like, if I'm working my job and I tell them that I specifically need Sunday and Monday off, non-negotiable. I still have my manager asking me, hey, I'm going to put you on schedule for Sunday and Monday. No, 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 no. We're transitioning here. We're not staying in this place. And I'm asking you, demanding you at this point, to make sure that you honor my standards of keeping me off on Sundays and Mondays. I'm not letting you tiptoe over my schedule anymore. I don't even make enough for you to put me on scheduled days that I have planned off already. This is you taking standards. This is how I take standards in my business, in my time, in my personal life. These are times that are dedicated specifically for my days off from a corporate job. In my friendships, I even have standards there because I value my friendships so much that I want to make sure that we're on the same page. I let my friends know, hey, these are some things that I'm going through right now, and I value our time together. I may not be able to show up when you want me to all the time, but mentally, this is what I have space for. And I want to know if you can meet me here. This is what I'm looking for in my friendships. What are you looking for as well? Because I want to make sure that we're on the same page and I can meet you where you're at and you can meet me where I'm at. These are literal things that you can do to help you even improve your friendships where you are right now. In my business, when it comes to signing contracts or signing proposals with my clients, I set the standard for what I'm able to handle. We're not stepping outside of the boundary, because if you're paying me for a certain price for a certain service, that is what we're sticking to. I've been in situations where I have given out my services for free. I would put time, energy, and effort into positions and clients. And I realized that I spent more time with them than I did on my own mental health, on my own personal time and space. And I wasn't getting allocated for the time that I was putting into their business. I wasn't being compensated, whether that is finances or of something of value. I realized that this is not working and I need to put a boundary here, because that boundary can save you a lot of time, energy, and effort. So going forward, I have set the standard in my proposals, in our contracts, that this is what I'm capable of doing, and vice versa for them as well. If they say, hey, we want to use you for X, Y, and Z, okay, well, here's what I can give. This is what my skill set is in. And if there's more value is going to be placed on the price that's dropped. Even in my personal life, I set standards for myself. Knowing me, I'm not a gym girly. I'm not a gym rat, but I do know that I like to work out. And working out gives me the energy that I need to get going for the day. So I may have a moment or time where I set myself up on a time frame to go to the gym, and it's cold and I'm sitting in bed and I'm like telling myself, okay, Arnesia, I know you don't feel like going to the gym, but imagine how you'll feel if you just got up and went to the gym and you got your good workout in and you feel motivated and excited for the day. Like, let's put ourselves there. I talk to myself like this all the time because I realize that once I give myself the baby steps, the visualization of the baby steps that I need to take, I start to feel better and I start to take action on the things that I set myself up for. So, with all these standards, I hope that these examples have given you some type of open eye when it comes to you being able to set standards for yourself and hopefully see some improvement when it comes to work life balance. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty behind this entire episode because once again, we're following steps that have been proven to help you become successful in your business and even potentially transition from your corporate job. What do you really do when you're working a full-time job and you want to build a business? I think what's happening when it comes to this part of your life, because obviously you're working a job, but you have this inspiration to build something grand, a coaching business, or you want to build a product. All these things are happening in your life right now, and you're realizing, I need more time. I need to figure out what is going on. Why is this? Why did God give me this vision? Yet I'm working a job that I am struggling to like and enjoy. So I feel like when God puts us in these positions, He's not telling us that you can't do one or the other. Oftentimes we find entrepreneurs quitting their jobs and saying, hey, I'm just going to focus on entrepreneurship full time. Honey, I get it. And I understand too that you also have to be responsible for some of the things in your life that you have put yourself in position to steward. For instance, if you're working a full-time job and you're trying to figure out where time is going and how to position yourself for that transition, it is important for you to know that God is not looking for you to quit one thing and abandon one thing just to hop on to focusing on your business full-time. He's actually teaching you how to steward your time, because when you know how to steward your time while working a full-time job, you're going to know how to do the same thing in your business. And I have done many corporate leaps where I've left a corporate job to pursue entrepreneurship full time. I have done entrepreneurship and tried looking for a job. And it all boils down to how you steward your time. You want to put yourself in a position in your mind where you say, I know how to manage my time as I'm becoming a business manager. Ultimately, for your business, God is literally the CEO. He is going to tell you the strategies you need to be doing. He's going to give you the ideas that's going to bring inspiration. He's going to give you ideas that is going to help you bring in clients. All these things are working in your mind, but you just need to know what steps to take to be able to steward them properly. And for me, what I've learned is that if I'm going to work a full-time job, I'm also going to need to know how to steward the time that I have put aside. And when you know how to steward your time, that shows that you're ready for the next position to take off in your business. The more that you complain about not having time or feeling too tired or you're unsure where to go, that is going to literally cause you to stay stuck at the job that you're working at right now. The moment that you tell yourself, I have so much on my plate, I don't know what to do, you're going to stay stuck in that same position. But the moment that you shift your mindset, you're going to find yourself saying, oh, wow, I can actually do it. Or, oh, wow, I didn't even realize I have a whole hour in my day after work to dedicate to my business. I can do this. The more that you tell yourself that you can do it, the more that you tell yourself that you have the time and I'm going to create time and I'm transitioning from one phase of my life to the next, God is going to see that. He's going to honor that. And He's going to give you more peace of mind to complete the assignments He has put into your life. I want you to take some time this week to think about the 5 steps that we just talked about. Matter of fact, do it now. Let's choose one thing out of the week that we're going to do to make sure that we create work-life business balance. Okay, let's think about this. So one of the things that we were going to do is going to audit our time. Where are the leaking gaps? Where can we put more time towards our business and balance out family life? Then we also have the option of creating a time blocked calendar. This one's my favorite. This is where we actually see what it is that we're going to do throughout the day, throughout the week, and we dedicate time for business, family, whatever that is. I want you to take one day out of the week to say, hey, Friday, I'm going to do X, Y, Z after I get off work. Put that in your calendar, put a reminder on that task, and watch how it turns out for you. It's not that scary. We're gonna do this right. Another thing that I want you to think about is also too your non-negotiables. What are those standards, honey? We need to build on them standards. If you're somebody that's willy-nilly in life and you letting people take over, maybe you're that type of person where you just are a yes person and you say yes to everybody and you don't make time for yourself. That would be good for you to start setting your standards and non-negotiables, especially if you're looking to step into business full time. And the last thing is that you can choose to do right now is you can go ahead and just talk to God about your whole life, your whole schedule. Maybe sometimes you just need to rest in his presence. Maybe you're the type where you feel overwhelmed and maybe you know that God is calling you to do more prioritization and stewarding your time properly. Really think about what God is trying to say right now for you. Maybe the answer is in this podcast episode. You may need to go back through the notes and choose one of the the action steps that I have given you. So if any of this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments which action step are you going to take this week. I would love to see your comments. That way we can talk, chit chat back and forth. I can probably share some more tips in the comments with you. But ultimately, if this was also helpful for you, make sure you share it with somebody. You never know who's in that time and place of your life that could use some tips when it comes to time management. Be that big sister, that big bro that helps hold your friend accountable who's looking for some next steps of work life and balance in their lives. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening to this podcast episode, definitely subscribe on the podcast platform that you're listening from. This is Identity Shift with Arnesia, and I'm excited to see how things turn out for you. I'll catch you in the next episode.